what's up? Mark here from the Backpacking Gear Net. Today we're going to talk about the Get Out Gear TrekChair version 2. So for full disclosure, they gave me the chair for free. All they asked is I would make an honest review video of it, and they didn't pay me to make this video, and I'm not getting any money from the link to the chair. This is the version 2. I think it's important that we talk about what happened with the version 1 so that we can then understand why this chair is so much better. Now for the version 1, the way they funded it was through a Kickstarter campaign. It was a great way for them to raise money and produce the first chairs. The issue with it is nobody else had ever made chairs like this before, and so they were the ones who had to get the bumps and bruises in order to perfect the design. Stephen from My Life Outdoors gave me permission to use the clip of him breaking the hub on the first version of this chair. That way you can see what happened. Now, out of 1,100 chairs, the front hub broke on 9 chairs. What did they do to fix the problem? Well, they asked the people who had the hubs break to please send the frames back, and they sent them into a lab so that they can get an analysis on the hub and see what happened. And what they found out was in the manufacturing process, towards the end of a run, the hubs were being manufactured by machines that were getting too hot, which made the hub brittle. They retooled to solve this problem, and then they not only replaced the frames of those 9 chairs, but they sent out new frames to all 1,100 people so that nobody else would have this issue. These chairs can hold 265 pounds based on what they said, and they've basically made it so that it can exceed that. I'm gonna test this chair by not only sitting in it in a way that people would sit in it, but adding some abuse on top of it to show you how strong the hub is of the chair. Now you get the chair in a stuff sack. That's normal for most chairs. This chair right here is 14.5 inches by 3.5 inches by 4 inches, which makes it the same size as the original Chair Zero. If I hold the materials together on both of these chairs take up the same amount of bulk. Now I also have the Chair Zero HighBack, and it takes up a little bit more bulk than the TrekChair does. TrekChair version 2 weighs 1 pound, 6.6 ounces on my scale, and the Chair Zero HighBack weighs just a little bit more than that. This makes this a competitive chair. The original Chair Zero weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce. There's shock cord on this, which makes it so that you never have to figure out what goes where. You just simply kind of move it around until they all insert in the correct holes. Now you'll notice there is no support poles in the back, and that is because this is a trekking pole chair. And that's what makes this so special, because you can use their trekking poles or you can use your own trekking poles. You put the trekking poles into those slots and you push it down, and so now you have your back supports. Unlike the Chair Zero, the legs protrude sideways instead of forward and back. I know there's going to be somebody who says it's an unfair comparison when I don't include the weight of the trekking poles. Well, that is only true if you don't carry trekking poles. But honestly, if you don't carry trekking poles, you probably wouldn't buy this chair. For somebody who already carries trekking poles, that weight is already considered as part of their load. So you're only increasing by the frame and the seat, and if you use the stuff sack, the stuff sack. That's why the seat stays are as wide as they are, and that's why that they're able to make the aluminum poles thicker and more sturdy so that you get less wobble, because they can take the weight that would have been in the back and they were able to distribute that through other items to make them stronger and more stable. Now the way the seat goes on is very similar to other chairs that you've seen. On the backrest you have these pockets that the trekking poles slide into, and on the front you've got these grommets that the aluminum poles slide into. And one thing that it does that the Chair Zero doesn't do is it's got a nice loop here if you have to pull it in order to get it on. The corners on here are all reinforced so that they're really sturdy and they're going to hold up. And the fabric itself is a really nice fabric. It's a ripstop fabric, and it is very sturdy and durable. Their stitching is immaculate. I have looked around the chair and I can't find a single thread that is not correct, that is just simply coming loose. They did a great job on the manufacturing of this. Now, let's put it together. So I'm going to take that pocket and I'm going to put it over the trekking poles first. So for me, I just do one at a time. And so now that you have the back on, I'm going to put the front on. I'm going to put these grommets in the aluminum poles. And because I have not raised my trekking poles yet, I'm able to put it on fairly easily. Okay, now, if you sat in it right now, you'd hurt your bottom because you would hit the pole on the bottom and that wouldn't feel good. So what we have to do now is we have to raise the back of the chair to the angle we want. We do that by just simply unlatching and adjusting your trekking poles. And so we can go low where we're sitting back in the chair, or we can raise them up higher so we're sitting more upright. That right there is something that I absolutely love about this chair. I can adjust my sitting angle. Now, on my Chair Zero HighBack or my original Chair Zero, they have a position that you sit in, and yes, you can lean forward, but when you lean forward to sit up, you have no backrest, whereas I can change the position of these trekking poles, and that will allow me to have a backrest. The chair is 21 inches across the front here of the seat. That is a lot bigger than the Chair Zero or the Chair Zero HighBack. Another thing I really like about this chair is it's got this really nice mesh back that I feel like is really comfortable because it really forms to your body well. It doesn't create any sort of stiffness in your back, and it's very breathable. So if you're hiking during warm weather, it's going to help you to not be sweaty back on the chair. Now, another nice thing about this chair is no matter what angle I sit at, this front area here never feels like it's cutting off my circulation, which is great because there are a lot of chairs out there that do. The way that they have this seat shaped is it really cups your tushy so that when you're sitting in it, you're not feeling like you're sliding forward. You sit in the pocket really well, and it's just incredibly comfortable for me. Because the backrest is so much higher than the Chair Zero HighBack, I can actually put my head up against this backrest in order to just kind of rest my neck. Whereas the Chair Zero HighBack just barely goes up to the bottom of my neck, so I don't get any neck support with it. The TrekChair sits 13 inches off the ground, and we'll say for compression that's probably like 10.5 to 11 inches off the ground. When you've got it up to where you're sitting almost upright, the back of the chair is 37 inches off the ground. which just makes this chair huge compared to the Chair Zero and the Chair Zero HighBack. Now, at the time of the recording of this video, you could buy this chair for $130 if you provide your own trekking poles. That makes this chair much cheaper than the helinox offerings. If you don't have your own trekking poles, they have these really nice carbon fiber trekking poles, and you can buy this as a kit, and it would be $200, but you have to remember, at $200, you're getting a pair of trekking poles too. A commonly asked question is, if I use my trekking poles for this chair, how will I use them for my trekking pole tent? You can set your trekking pole tent up with your trekking poles, and with most of them, you could then just take your trekking pole out of it, put it in the chair, and then when you go back, you don't really have to worry about readjusting everything. You just put your trekking pole in and put it back up to the height that it's supposed to be for your tent. So for me, that is a non-issue, but it may be an issue for you, so that's something to think about. So down below, there's a link to their website so you can get these chairs. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get any money for it. There are other affiliate links under there of gear that I really enjoy. So if you use those links, it helps support the channel. There's also a link to my merchandise store so that you can buy a t-shirt or a mug or something like that so that you can help me to raise money to make more videos like this. Other than that, please hit that like and subscribe button, and there's a video right here that shows the comparison of the Chair Zero with the Chair Zero HighBack, and I'll see you on the next one.